Have you ever felt that deep spiritual pull, that calling, but then looked around and just couldn't find the structure or the community to really move forward? Well, we're going to dive into a pathway that's been designed for spiritual practitioners just like you, folks who are ready to take their personal practice and turn it into a real professional purpose.
Right off the bat, this isn't a question, it's a statement of fact. The idea here is that you're not starting from scratch. You've already been on this path. You've done the work, you've read the books, and you've tapped into a kind of wisdom that feels like you're remembering it, not just learning it. This journey is for those who already know deep down that they have a calling.
So who exactly is this for? Well, it's for all the different faces of spiritual leadership out there. It doesn't matter if you see yourself in an ancient tradition, like a mambo or a hugan, or a more modern role, like an energy worker or an oracle. The one thing that ties everyone together is a real deep devotion to the practice. This is really for the modern keepers of ancient wisdom.
But for all of these dedicated guides, there's a problem, a dilemma that people just don't like to talk about, a hidden challenge that comes with the territory of holding space for other people.
And this right here, this is the heart of it all, isn't it? As a guide, you are constantly holding space for everyone else. But who holds space for you? When you're the person everyone turns to, where do you go for support? It's a question that, I think, hits home for so many people in this line of work.
Wow, this simple phrase just says it all. It perfectly captures that feeling of spiritual burnout. You pour out your energy, your wisdom, your guidance, day in and day out. But if you don't have a way to refill your own cup, the vessel itself, your body, your spirit, it starts to crack under all that pressure.
And let's be clear, this cost isn't just some abstract spiritual thing. This lack of self-maintenance, it can show up in very real, very physical ways. We're talking about serious health problems that pop up when a guide is constantly putting everyone else's well-being before their own.
So what's the answer? How do you solve this dilemma? Well, the solution being proposed here is a sanctuary, a program built not just to train guides, but to protect and preserve them. So what exactly is this healer's sanctuary? Think of it as a protected space, a sacred container for both disciplined learning and deep, deep rest. Yeah, it's a place to study and pray, but it's also a place to just let your spirit be free, to sing, to dance, to remember who you really are.
Okay, so what does the sanctuary actually look like day to day? The first year is structured as this really powerful blend. You get consistent learning with monthly classes, you get these deep, immersive experiences at 4 in-person ceremonies, and you have continuous support through access to the healer sanctuary itself. It's like a whole ecosystem for growth.
And for anyone who's feeling that call, here's the date to circle on your calendar. The whole journey officially kicks off with that first in-person gathering in March of 2026. This gives you a really clear timeline to prepare, set your intentions, and get ready to commit.
But listen, this isn't just some one-year course and then you're done. No, this is a complete 3-phase pathway. The whole vision here is to guide you from that very first step, that initial petition, all the way to becoming a self-sufficient professional in your field.
This timeline really lays out the long-term plan. It's designed to be a gradual, deliberate progression, not some quick fix. Every phase builds on the one that came before it, taking you from petitioner to practitioner and finally to professional.
So, phase 1, that first year as a petitioner, is all about the foundation. It's about getting grounded in the traditions, deepening that connection to the gifts you already have, and building the personal rituals and practices that are going to sustain you for the long haul.
Then, once you've got that solid foundation, phase 2 is all about expansion. As a practitioner, the focus shifts to really honing your unique skills, mastering the ethics and boundaries you need to serve people safely, and plugging into a real community of your peers.
And finally, phase 3 is where it all comes together in the real world. This is the professional year. This is where you learn how to take your calling and turn it into a sustainable business that can actually support you. It's about making that huge shift from just having a gift to building a life around it. Okay, so after 3 years of this dedicated work, what's the end result? What's the payoff? Let's take a look at the transformation that this path is promising to deliver.
The outcome here is so holistic. I mean, yes, it's about being grounded and confident in your gifts, for sure, but it's also about building a business that actually sustains you. It's about finding your tribe, serving with integrity, and, at the end of the day, shining as that beacon of light you're meant to be.
All right, so we've seen the problem, we've seen the sanctuary, we've seen the promised transformation.
So how does a person actually get started on this journey? Well, the very first step is what's called the petitioning process. Now, to petition here means so much more than just applying for something. It's a formal declaration that you are ready. It's this incredibly intentional act where you're saying, I am ready to be seen, to be held accountable, and to be truly shaped by this discipline.
The process itself is pretty straightforward, but you've got to pay attention to that third step. Getting in isn't a guarantee. It's really reserved for people who can show a genuine devotion and a real readiness for this level of deep, disciplined work. It's all about finding the people who are truly aligned with the path.
The container for this entire journey, the institution behind it, is the Haitian Holistic Mystery School. This really grounds the whole program in a specific lineage, one that's dedicated to uniting yourself and your spirit as the ultimate pathway to success.
Step into your calling, serve your community, build your life. I mean, that's really the core invitation, isn't it? It perfectly summarizes the whole journey, from that inner purpose to making an outer impact, and finally, to creating a life that is both sustainable and totally fulfilling.
And so we land on the most important question of all. If you feel this pull, if you know you have these gifts, the real challenge isn't if you have a calling. The real challenge is how you build a life that can truly honor it. How do you make your sacred work sustainable? That is the ultimate question that this pathway is trying to answer.